Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Storytime, the series where I tell you stories from my past that I think are funny or stories that have impacted my life. And today we're going to lean more to the funny side of things, where I'm going to tell you some high school stories. So all of these stories today revolve around my group of friends that I've been friends with pretty much since elementary school. I met some of them through elementary school, hockey. I met some of them through high school, but all of us went to school together and we're still friends to this day. I hang out with most of them almost every single weekend. I see them all the time, and apparently that's pretty rare that people have friends that they keep after high school for that long, but super common for me. Literally all my friends from high school I still hang out with every weekend. So all of these friends went to school with me, and all of these stories take place in class. Things, just ridiculous things that we did to some of the teachers. Now, a little bit of background. In high school, I did really well in high school. I got on honor roll pretty much every single semester. I got really good marks, but I didn't do homework, I didn't study, and sometimes I didn't even go to class. I was just one of those people that was lucky in school and didn't really find any problems with it. I know a lot of people are on the other side of that fence, and if you are, just keep grinding away at school. But for me, I got lucky. I had a lot of fun in high school. My favorite parts were playing sports, hanging out with my friends, and that was pretty much it. But the first story here took place in grade 10, right after lunch. So we had English right after lunch, and I can't remember whether this was grade 9 or 10 because I was in the same English classroom, and on this day we had a substitute teacher. And on this day, we were going to be late for class. Basically, we were doing something during lunch and forgot to grab lunch. So what we did is at the very end of lunch, we went to the cafeteria, grabbed a couple hamburgers, and we're going to bring them back to English to eat them in English class. Now, you're not technically allowed to eat in classes, but most teachers don't really care. And both in grade 9 and 10, I had the same English teacher, super nice lady. But, as I said, on this faithful day, we had a substitute. Not just any substitute. The substitute that everyone in the school passionately hated. She was awful. She couldn't teach. She just was not good at it. And she got people in trouble for absolutely nothing. So as you can imagine, coming into class late with a bunch of hamburgers probably wasn't going to fly with her. So we get to class, and somehow I come out of this unscathed. The teacher does not care that I'm late whatsoever, but my buddy Shane walks in with his hamburger in his hand, and she just starts reaming him out. Just, why would you come to class 10 minutes late holding hamburgers? You can't eat in class. You should know this by now. And Shane was just kind of having none of it, so he's slowly making his way to his seat, and then she freaks out and goes, "You need to throw out that hamburger right now. You're not eating that in class. Throw that out," which is ridiculous. If you bring food to class, I get that you can't eat it, but she can't make you throw out something you just bought. So instead of yelling at him to put it in his bag, she starts screaming at him to throw it out. So what does he do? He stares at her dead in the face, does not say a word to her this entire time. Puts the hamburger in his hand, slowly unwraps it, grabs the whole thing, and just shoves the entire hamburger in one bite into his mouth. I don't know how he did it. They weren't huge hamburgers, but it's still a full hamburger. Shoves the entire thing in his mouth, sits down in his chair, and just stares at her, slowly chewing away at it. And she does not know what to do. She's just kind of looking at him like, So Shakespeare just goes back into teaching the class, just not knowing what to say, and Shane ate his hamburger in, peace with a very uncomfortable mouth for the rest of the class. Now, we didn't do that much crazy stuff in grade 9 or 10, but the rest of these stories take place close to the end. This first one in grade 12. Now, this story takes place in grade 12 chemistry, and in grade 12 chemistry, we had an amazing, amazing teacher. He was my rugby coach, super cool, could pretty much let you do whatever you want as long as you tried in class. Great freaking teacher. First day of class, he goes, "You guys can pretty much call me whatever you want. My first name, my last name." And in this class, I was in the class with my buddy Jake. I've talked about Jake in Storytime before. The guy's an interesting dude. So Jake immediately goes, "All right, that's cool. Can we call you Doc?" And he goes, "No, you can't call me. I'm not a doctor. You can't call me Doc." Jake goes, "All right, we're calling you Doc." So pretty much the entire class the rest of the year calls him Doc. So, moving on, this was way later in the year, very close towards the end of the year. One of my friends had a pool, and we would often skip afternoon classes after lunch and just go swim in his pool because it's hot out and that's what you do. On this day, I remember specifically we had a review period. And with a review period, here's a huge tip. You can basically not pay attention to your class for the entire unit. As long as you go to the review period, your teacher's going to pretty much tell you exactly what's on the test. So just pay attention during the review period. You don't have to pay attention during anything else. My buddy Jake decides to stay at the pool for the review period. I decide to go to class. So I get there, and about 10 minutes into class, my phone rings. It's Jake. Also, my phone is not on vibrate or silent because I'm an idiot. So my phone's ringing, and Doc comes over and goes, "Corey, is that your phone?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Turn it off." I'm like, "Well, Jake's calling," because I'm an asshole. And he goes, like, "Jake, that's supposed to be beside you." I'm like, "Yeah, you want to answer it?" He goes, "Yeah, I want to answer it." So I hand him my phone. He answers it, turns it on speakerphone, and goes, "Corey, you big loser. Why the hell aren't you at the pool?" And Doc goes, "Hi, this is Doc, your chemistry teacher. Why aren't you in class?" Jake just goes, "Doc." And you could hear him like kind of, the cogs are kind of turning in his head. And he goes, "It's pretty warm out today. Doc, you want to come over for a swim?" And he goes, "No, I don't want to come over for a swim. Get to class right now." Jake goes, "No," and hangs up the phone. So same teacher, couple of days later, we're in chemistry class. Jake's chatting with me, and this is during a lecture. Like, our teacher is talking, Jake just turns to me and starts having a conversation. So of course, our teacher's like, you can't do that. He's like, "Jake, you got to pay attention. Are you even passing the class?" And I believe Jake was doing pretty good. Most of my friends did really good in school, so he was probably passing. Let's just put that out of the way. And Doc goes, "Jake, can you even find beryllium on that periodic table over there?" And on the side of the class wall, we had a giant periodic table. So Jake, without skipping a beat, points over to it and goes, "Yeah, Doc, it's right over there, right under the FU." And our class goes silent. Like, you could hear a pin drop for sure. And I expected, you go to the office right now. You cannot talk like that but to a teacher. But instead, Doc's an awesome teacher, bursts out laughing and goes, "Oh my God, that is so quick. I haven't heard that before. Normally I'd get mad at a student for saying something like that to me, but God, that was funny." And just goes, just go out in the hall for a little bit and then come back. That was awesome. And Jake just goes, "All right." Great teacher. Next story, not a great teacher. In fifth year. So fifth year is something that I don't even know if they have anymore here, but it's basically grade 13. I've already graduated school. For the specific program I was going to go to in school, I needed one other course, maybe. Like, I kind of needed it, but I could also get accepted not having it as well. But the real reason you go back for fifth year or grade 13 is to play sports. So I was playing like football, rugby, like pretty much every sport, you name it, I was playing it. Same with all my friends. That's why you go back for an extra year, just to play sports a little bit longer. And this year, our first period of our first semester, we had kinesiology with the worst teacher I have ever seen, ever had. She was awful. The main reason she was awful, well, she was a lesbian. That's not what makes her awful. Completely fine with her being a lesbian. But she also hated men because she was a lesbian. I don't even know why. She hated men. To give you some backstory, my uncle also went to the same high school as me, had her. She tried to get him expelled. Not suspended, not detention, expelled for having a t-shirt with a girl in a bikini on it. He went to Cancun with some friends, got a t-shirt with a picture of a girl in a bikini on a beach because he was in Cancun, and she tried to get him expelled for it. So this teacher hated me and my friends, and it just so happened that in this class, 4 of my group of like 8 friends all were in this class. And as I said, it was the first period of the day. And she had this policy that if you were late for the first period of the day, you had to write a note. Like, write it yourself with a reason as to why you were late that day. Ridiculous policy. Don't know why it existed. We'll kind of get to that in a second. On this day, when we were in 5th year, you're either 18 or 19. In Canada, Ontario, legal drinking age is 19. So we may have gone out the night before and may have had some drinks, so all my friends were hungover. So 2 of my friends come to class late. The first one comes in, has to write his note, so he writes the note and writes on it, "Sorry, I am Batman. I was busy saving the day." Folds it up, hands it to her, goes, sits down in his chair. Jake, once again, gets to class late. My friend texted him saying what he wrote on his note. Jake writes on his note, "Sorry, I'm Robin. I was busy cleaning up Batman's mess." Hilarious, right? She hates men, so not only does she hate my friends, she also hates Batman and Robin, apparently. Because in the middle of class, as we're doing some whatever group work or whatever, you can see her opening up the notes. She opens the first one, shakes her head, opens the second one, fuming, just absolutely fuming. So she stands up. "You think this is a joke, coming to class late? You guys have to go to the office. I'm going to get you guys expelled for making a joke of my class." Blah, 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 blah. Sends them to the office. So they get to the office and they explain the whole thing to the principal. What does the principal do? First of all, thinks it's hilarious. Second of all, goes, she can't do that. She can't make you write a reason as to why you were late. What if it's something super personal, like you have explosive diarrhea? She doesn't need to know that. So not only did my friends not get in trouble, they also got rid of the policy where we had to give her notes at the beginning of every single day. High school was fun. I know a lot of people really don't like high school. I loved it. I got to play sports every day. I got to hang out with my friends every single day. Skipped a lot of classes. Still got good marks. It was a great time for me. And I know not everyone has that, but I have a ton of stories like this, just from high school shenanigans we got up to during class. So that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button. Also, if you like what you see here, you can hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. You'll be notified whenever I upload a video. Let me know down in the comments what you think of high school. If you had a good time, if you're still in it, let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for